Welcome for today's practice. We're going to be addressing Vata Dosha and Kapha Dosha. This is a lymph-oriented practice with a few intermediate poses mixed into the process. And so we'll start with a long set of pranayama to warm up the body to address the issue of cold, since Vata and Kapha both experience the cold quality in their dosha. And then we'll go into some physical asana that you're going to find you're squeezing and releasing the lymph system, moving with the balance of the breath, and ultimately coming into a place where Shavasana is a deeply cleansing experience. Okay, let's go to class. Asana practice, I'm going to ask you to come to kneeling as one of the first places that we'll start. So in kneeling, if you need padding for your knees, please don't hesitate to have padding for your knees. I'm also going to suggest, as you see where we're going, that some of you will prefer to have something to support your head in front of you as well. So check that you can come up on the high knees, you feel comfortable here, and you can come down. That's also comfortable. Hopefully it's comfortable. If you're not able to sit in kneeling because you have had knee replacements or you have knee pain, I think you could adapt this practice to sitting in one chair, second chair in front of you, and you'll do a stand-up mechanism versus a kneeling up mechanism. Yoga is often practiced on the floor, which is why we're doing it in this particular way right now. So place your fists here in the low belly. So it's at the crease of the groin, and just come forward, bowing forward like child's pose. And then inhale up to your high knees, the arms. And exhale, fists into the groin, hips to your heels, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sit back and come forward and down. Follow your Ujjayi inhale to rise up. And your Ujjayi exhale to come down. Twice more. And all the way down, we're going to stay down for a few breath cycles. Allow the fists to be informative in the lower belly. So the head is touching the floor or a block or a blanket. And the fists provide a purposeful obstacle in the lower abdomen. So the breath is required to go to the lateral and posterior parts of your abdomen. And then roll yourself up to kneeling. Release your hands. Notice the heat that comes with that part of the abdomen when you release the hands. Right, so more circulation. Generally speaking, your circulation should feel like it's everywhere now, except if you're still kneeling, you won't feel it as much in your feet. And in a moment, you will get to have that. Okay, so that closes and opens the lymph, closes and opens, closes and opens. And then you feel that circulation coming through and some warmth there. Now take a blanket, and I'm going to suggest you fold it in thirds so that you can come up and stand on it. Notice when you come up to stand that you're going to have circulation going down your legs now. So you'll start to feel through the calves and the feet and the ankles, this nice washing through there. So our lymph system is not just in the upper portion here, not only in the abdomen, not only in the groin, but also in the calves and the lower legs. So place your toes up here. This is one reason that they have recommended to people who work on their feet and or pilots, stewardesses, and also nurses, waitresses, and so on, that they would do legs up the wall pose as a way to flush the lymph system, because the calves then are inverted and there's a movement of the lymph that's following from the calves to the groin and so on. And since when we're walking about or we're on our feet all day, people tend to have some susceptibility to edema, that's another way to reverse that flow. So with your feet up here, maybe you already feel your calves are stretching. Go ahead and come forward to Uttanasana. Feel free to take a couple blocks for your hands if you need to. And then using the fists, your two fists come from the lower part of the ankle up to the back of the calf. And then focus at the back of the calves for about 10 to Potmans. Okay, shift your hands to your hips and please rise up to standing. Now with your blanket folded in thirds like that, step to the other side of the blanket. So now you have feet like a Barbie doll. This is what I've called it for a long time. Barbie doll feet means that you're tippy toeing as if you're wearing high heels, but you are supported by the blanket. Okay, let's give a little test drive here. If you're comfortable to come down to squatting. So check and see. Not always easy to get down to a squat. It's okay to, if you need some support for your balance, you could put your blanket, your blocks nearby to give you some guardrails. And then come back up to stand, please. Okay. Inhale, turn the palms face out. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale to chair pose. Breathe in. Exhale to Malasana, squatting pose. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, arms wide, return down to the starting position. And begin again. Inhale. Exhale, equal to inhale, Utkatasana. Breathe in when you're ready to. Exhale to squat. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale. Inhale, rise. And exhale, arms wide, palms facing out. One more time, inhale. Balance your inhale with your exhale. Utkatasana. Breathe in. Exhale, Malasana. Inhale. Exhale. Of course, at your own pace, right? And exhale, arms wide and out to the side. Let the arms dangle. Step onto level ground. Leave your setup there. Just step onto level ground and notice how things feel in the whole of your body now, in the entirety of your body. And then open your eyes and come back to standing. Smiling, thank you. Turn your palms face out. And we're going to add something to this one. So inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bend your knees. And one reason that we do chair pose with the knees separated is that we're going to come down between the knees for a twist. So inhale, twist right. Exhale, come to center. Inhale, twist left. Broaden the back of the body as you're twisting. Exhale to center. Inhale. Exhale, come down. This is variation on Malasana. Bring the left arm to the inside, and then inhale, open to your right. Exhale to center. Right arm down. Inhale, raise your left wingtip to the sky. Exhale. Now put your armpits over your knees, as if the armpits were little hats for the knees. You might even notice that the armpits are warm and the knees get a little bit warmed up from that contact. Relax the weight of your head so you're gently gazing down. And keep the breath moving into the back and the sides of the waist. And exhale. Let's take the inhale to come into Utkatasana. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, rise up. And exhale to release. Okay, step to level ground again and notice how things are feeling. Okay, let's put the blanket aside. You can keep it nearby. We'll use it again. Take a wide stance. So you have this experience of the groin lymph and then the armpit chest lymph. And then we've got other places for the lymph in the body. So it's everywhere. And it's important that we know how to move lymph towards its exit pathways. A little bit like leaving a crowded theater or the baseball stadium after. I was just remembering being at the baseball stadium in New York when the Jets were, no, not the Jets, the New York Yankees were playing, pardon me, mingling my memories. I never went to a football game, I went to a baseball game. But to leave the stadium, you had to go at a certain pattern to get out, right? So there's also a pattern for the lymph system in your body. So we're addressing some of those places right now. We're going to continue. So this is going to be the armpit chest and then the groin right in here. So reach back to clasp your hands, squeeze the shoulders back. Squeeze the arms back. As you inhale, lift your chest and heart. Let the hips come forward to be in line with the toes. So not super far forward, but just in line with your toes. Look up. And then exhale, back your hips up to be in line with your heels. Bow forward and come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. Keep the fingers interlaced. Squeeze the upper back. Okay, exhale completely. Tone the lower belly towards the end of the exhale, and then inhale to rise up. Bring the hips a little bit forward, and exhale to flow down. Inhale, rise up. Check that you're not hyperextending your knees or your elbows. Neither of those will be helpful to you. Exhale to come forward. If you are hyperextending at your elbows or your knees, please put a little micro bend in your legs or arms. Inhale to rise. And that way you're going to have to use the strength of the joint system, not relying on laxity, but using the muscles to support your joints instead. Okay, once more, inhale to rise. And exhale, release the clasp of your hands, allow the arms to dangle. Notice the temperature of your fingers. Turn the heels in, turn the toes out, come down to a wide squat known as the jazz dance warm-up pose. Okay, as you come down, if you are someone who has hyperflexibility or hypermobility, rather than going to your lowest point, keep some strength at the sitting bones, the pelvic floor, and the hamstrings. Okay, as you now inhale, raise your right heel. That's pumping the calf muscle. Exhale to lower. Inhale left. Exhale, lower. Right. Okay, left. Try both. Use the rhythmic nature of Ujjayi breathing. That is also setting a rhythm in your body, and your body is comprised of rhythms. Circulation, heartbeat, biorhythm, circadian rhythms, metabolism. So you're helping to create the rhythm with the Ujjayi breath. It's like a rhythm, like an ocean has a rhythm for its waves. Okay, exhale, lower your heels down, and then root the tailbone down and check that you can start bearing less and less weight in your hands. Reach your arms forward. Okay, with the knees turned out, stretch the inner thighs and come into the goddess pose. And stand like a goddess. Use the strength of the Kapha Dosha, right? Pitta is also a dosha of strength. Vata dosha, the bones are more thin. The ability to build and then maintain strength is different. But for Kapha and Pitta, you can rely on that strength here. And then inhale, rise up. Let's make the feet parallel. Release your arms down and notice the circulation again, flowing down to your fingers, but also down through the groin into your feet. And know that your lymph system is taking it the other way. It's coming up. You pumped the calves, so that's coming up. Circulation is going down. You were squeezing the armpits. That's been released. Arms overhead, there's drainage this way. Now there's circulation. You come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. Place your fingertips on the floor. And then center your left hand, or you can use blocks, of course. Center your left hand between where both hands are now. Wrap your right arm around the small of your back. And then inhale, twist to your right. Let's keep the hips level left to right so you're not jockeying the right hip up and the left hip down. Rotate the right shoulder back, almost like it's going behind your right collarbone. Press firmly into your right leg and your left arm to stabilize your twist. The left leg also is important, but since the hips tend to sashay to the right, focus on the strength of your right leg. The right shoulder cannot pull you into the twist, though it can rotate back. The left arm, the strength of the left arm is guiding the strength of your twist. So exhale to unwind. We're going to change sides. Place the right fingertips down. They might start getting warmer. Wrap your left arm around the small of your back. Strengthen your left leg before you rotate. Press into your right arm. Roll your left shoulder back. And breathe to support the rhythms within your body. Notice the strength that you can gain during the exhale and the space you can cultivate during your inhale. We're going to use this exhale to unwind. Place your hands on your hips and please rise up to standing. Let's go heel toe to center. Stand tall like a mountain. Connect to your plumb line. So when you stand tall and the mind gets quiet, the eyes are closed, and you sense the center plumb line of your mountain self. Your strength lies within you, and we're simply unburdening that strength to come forward. By this, I mean your mental strength or your strength for perseverance, your strength for determination or dedication, the strength of your inner confidence. You're also building muscle strength in yoga practice, but this inner strength that can get burdened when we feel like edema or lethargy or apathy, that is coming through as we slough off the burden. You sweep both arms wide. Wrap your right elbow over your left. Weave the hands around each other like a rope. Bend both knees. This is Garudasana, eagle pose. Take a seat back like in chair pose, right? And since you have your right elbow on top, put your body weight into your right leg and bring the left knee over the right knee. Now, some of you are going to be able to wrap your left ankle around your right ankle. That is not in my mechanical capacity. It used to be, but then I had some life events and a double hip replacement as a result of those life events. In other words, accidents, motor vehicle accidents. So do your best. You're closing the wrist, elbow, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle joints. You bring the elbows down towards the knees. They might touch, they might not. And then unwind your hands, your elbows, your shoulders, press into both feet, take flight. Like an eagle, Garudasana, float the arms out to the side, lower the arms down. You can feel the warmth. You're redistributing heat in the body. Okay, float the arms out, breathing in. Wrap your left elbow over your right. Bend your knees. And then putting your body weight into your left leg, wrap the right leg around the left. Again, you can choose to put your ankle behind your other ankle. You could put the toes on the floor if you needed to for balance. So if you are someone who has hip replacements or a hip replacement singular, or you're a teacher working with students with hip replacements, it's helpful to notify your teacher, by the way, if you have a hip replacement. And as a teacher, it's helpful not to put students in positions that would make their hip apparatus more vulnerable. And with your next inhale, start to unwind, plant both feet, take flight. Let me name what those contraindications are for a moment here. Lower the arms down. So if you're a teacher working with students who have a hip replacement, the primary contraindication is a three-part movement in the body, and that is flexion, particularly in the old days, like I could say 30 years ago now, was old because I'm also aging. So we used to not be able to go further than 90. The apparatuses are new, so it's possible to come closer. But knee to chest is totally fine. You saw me doing malasana before. So it's flexion with internal rotation and then adduction coming to the midline. So when you do flexion and then you go to eagle pose and then internal rotation and adduction are together and you're weight bearing, that's one of the risky places that you're putting some of these hip joints into. So flexion, adduction, internal rotation. If you've ever known a student in your community who's had a hip replacement, particularly if it was 30 or 40 years ago, the dislocation of the hip joint would happen when they were painting the pinky toenail, painting their nails. Sitting down and going to paint the pinky toenail, they would put their foot like this to get to it, and then the hip apparatus would dislocate, had to call the emergency room. So in this case, when you're working with somebody who has a hip replacement, you want to bias things like abduction, external rotation for the stability out in the hip joints here. And then it becomes individualized. Like you see me doing malasana, you see me doing a part of Garbhodasana. You see me having a pretty full yoga practice. Always make questions or comments. If you need to reach out to somebody, you can let me know. Okay, so those are some standing practices that you've just done. We're going to come to the floor for a short sequence before we get to realize the medicine that you're moving through your body right now. So, of course, you're realizing along the way. When I say you get to realize it, I mean Shavasana is coming. Okay, so take a seat on your mat so that you have space behind you. That means that this would be in the way. I'm going to scooch it here. Watch for anything that you could knock over and relocate that, whatever it is. Okay, so sitting up tall on your hips like this, place your fingertips behind you. Roll the shoulders back. This is Purvottanasana. Roll the heels of the hands down to the floor if you can. And coming back into the Ujjayi breath, I'd like you to inhale smoothly, raise your hips up to Purvottanasana. And then exhale, lower your hips down. And try that again. Inhale, raise your hips up, lift the tailbone, tone the hamstrings and the glutes, open your chest and heart, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, lower down. Again, inhale, rise up. We're going to change the sequence very slightly. Exhale, lower your hips to the floor and bring your knees to your chest. Inhale, Purvottanasana. Exhale, come down, hips to the floor, knees to your chest. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Dandasana. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, rise. And exhale, Navasana. Touch the feet. Inhale, Purvottanasana. Exhale, hips down, knees to your chest. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Dandasana. Inhale, reach up and forward. Exhale, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, Dandasana. Exhale, Navasana. Inhale, Purvottanasana. Exhale, lower your hips down, cross your ankles, and take a seat. Notice how things are feeling. I'd ask you to make sure you've got some space behind you because we're going to add to that sequence. Notice what's happening for you Now, what is the overall feeling tone? Okay, and then turn sideways again. Bend the knees. You're going to start with your feet flat on the floor. And just check when you lie down. I think I'm in the wrong spot. Yeah, I am, because I can't stretch my arms up overhead. Let's check on that. Well, I guess I could be a little closer. Okay. So something like this, that you know you're going to have the space for that. And then come up. Okay. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Marichyasana. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Marichyasana. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Dandasana. Inhale, up and forward. Exhale, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, up. Inhale, Navasana. Exhale, Dandasana. Big circle of the arms. Inhale. Hands behind you. Exhale, Purvottanasana with the legs straight. Inhale, return your hips to the floor. Raise the arms up. And exhale, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, arms overhead. And this time, exhale, raise the legs. And then let's take the legs straight up from the hips. I ended up under my furniture after all. So legs straight up from the hips like this. And pump the ankles. Check that you've got some space left to right. We'll finish with Jatara Parivartanasana, which means the revolved twisting pose. So you can do this with the legs straight, which means your feet are coming down towards your hands, or you can do this with the knees bent. Your knees are coming towards your armpits. So the practice can go like this. If you're using the straight legs, the feet are ideally in the line of the arms. That means that you have the hamstring flexibility for your feet to come forward like this. Otherwise, the bent knees are totally fine and recommended. So the knees are snug up to the chest because we're going to massage the organs in the abdomen. So exhale. You inhale to center and exhale down side to side. As you're going side to side, try to keep your feet together so they don't separate when you come down. It doesn't look like one leg is short and one is long. Same thing for the knees. So it won't appear to you that one knee is shrinking while the other one is growing. One thing that might be happening as you're sliding down your mat, you're moving away from the, the back of the room. You may be also, I don't know if based on your clothing, Maybe your t-shirt is gathering up near your neck. So, of course, take care of yourself. And come to center one more time. Let's take the knees from behind. That adds a nice little pressure to the calves. Drop the feet over your forearms. It's helpful if your head touches the floor comfortably. If that's not the case, then please put a blanket under your head. Let's pull the feet down over the forearms. The pressure of the thighs against the abdomen is also on purpose. Notice where the breath goes. And then let's release. Touch your feet to the floor. Adjust your clothing. And then stretch the legs out and notice what happens at the back of the calves and also from the lower belly down through the groin, right? Because you just had the knees up to the chest, rotating, rotating. What is now happening downstream? Keeping in mind that there's also this upstream current. The lymph is being returned and it's going to be moved through and then eliminated, right? So if you have a backed up lymph system, you will have backed up hormones. And backed up hormones means your endocrine system has to keep accommodating for you, and it'll be harder to do. No point in keeping excess hormones around if they're not the ones you need and want. So let's take, as a blanket, here's a little yoga teacher trick. You got the toes. So like that. Of course, you can cover the whole body with a blanket if you like. I'm just taking the lower body for this morning. Let's turn the palms face up. Close your eyes. Another nice thing to do if you're someone who has a meditation shawl is to gift yourself with the shawl in Shavasana, like it's a meditative Shavasana. And with the eyes closed, turn your attention inward and really just enjoy. You could imagine your body like a forest with rivers. Everything is coming to life now. The rivers are moving again. The birds will come. There's space between the trees. The sunlight gets in. The dark canopy is no longer so cold, no longer so damp. The roots can enjoy going deeper. The branches don't mind spreading to the sky. Allow yourself this wonderful gift of integration and restoration. Yoga practice is not like a workout as we go to the gym. There is the importance for that. This is an internal workout, an inner workout, we could say, a work in. So you can picture the inner forest and rivers, the plant life, the wildlife, the birds. And this is your circulation, innervation, the movement of neurotransmitters, hormones, lymph, the healthy fluids of the body. The repair of tissues, the resetting of your metabolism, your heart rate, your nervous system. And all of that to help you also connect into your subtle body, cleansing the nadis, the meridians, balancing your vayus, your dosha, the chakras, and deeper than all of that, reconnecting back to your inner discerning mind, wisdom, intuition. And even deeper than that, reconnecting to the inner source of love itself. Allow the beauty of your natural intelligence and the whole of nature to take care of you right now. It's a practice of surrender and appreciation. Allow the process to continue uninterrupted and without distractions. Invite the process to go deeper again, without you wandering away, intruding, interrupting, planning. And as you welcome that process to go deep, begin to bathe yourself with appreciation. And so appreciation for the natural intelligence that's taking care of you right now. And we've cleaned all the systems of the body. Let's infuse those systems now with appreciation, with gratitude, with recognition, and with a commitment to then treat these systems with respect. And start to roll your head side to side, wiggle your fingers and your toes, bend your knees. Roll to your side. Let's return to sitting, please. I know that a couple of you in this community have had a major surgery recently. You're well enough to be in class, of course, but you've had surgery that involved like probably anesthesia, perhaps some pain medication and so on, antibiotics. We have a couple students, one right now is having surgery. I was notified this morning. And it's just, knowing a community over a long period of time, you end up knowing when things are happening. So the lymph system is really important following those kinds of surgical procedures because of everything that comes in during the procedure, particularly with anesthesia and pain medication, antibiotics, all those things. So I want to wish those of you who are here particularly well, having been through your process. Let's all now take a seat and see what kind of beautiful quiet can come to the mind, as if we were the trees in the forest that are welcoming the wildlife, the creatures, the plant life, the sunlight, the darkness. They welcome the night sky. They welcome the morning light. I'm sitting with an attitude of welcoming. Yoga is not only a self-healing practice for our well-being, it is a wonderful pathway into this meditative awareness. And listen in your meditation, listen inside for the place in which you dwell in peace, shanti, the place where you dwell in appreciation and gratitude. And stay with the inner quiet of the mind, the inner place of shanti. Allow your body to be naturally grounded and upright and relatively still. Please raise your hands to your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. May the love that you are shine through, unobstructed by the residue of daily life and all the stimulus that we have in daily life. May it shine through, and may you each be a welcoming forest, a welcoming canopy of sorts for the creatures, the birds, the people. Thank you for being here. Namaste. I'd like to offer something for anybody who had this experience during Shavasana or meditation. When you're working on the lymph system like this, sometimes what you're doing is deeper cleansing, not just the daily cleanse, like you clean the kitchen sink after doing the dishes, but the deeper cleanse can be happening also. And that means that sometimes old samskaras that were at the sort of the bottom of the pond, as it were, may surface. You may have little remnants of memories or thoughts, or a word might float by. It seems incongruous or disconnected. And it may be that those old samskaras are sloughing off. Maybe they're leaving without explanation, and they don't even need a narrative about them. But sometimes what is surfacing, what is coming up, is actually asking for our attention. So some of the deeper healing that we do physically, emotionally, mentally may be requesting that we turn our attention towards it. Because we're not just storing daily life stress, we're also storing that which we've had to avoid, oppress, suppress, repress. That which we've been storing becomes a hindrance to us. So if it's surfacing and it's asking for your attention, then to do that in the most kind and compassionate way. You may also feel some after effects of a practice like this, like you might actually feel tired or thirsty. It's good to hydrate from this practice particularly. It's really helpful also now to have the kinds of foods that nourish your body to keep the cleansing process going. So we don't now think, oh, good, I cleansed, so now I'll have some goodies. Those goodies that end up being not goodies, if you know what I mean. So in other words, things may be moving still from your practice, so please take care and be gentle and wise with yourself and with those around you. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your practice with me and also with this community. If yoga teacher training interests you because you're watching how these sequences unfold and you're curious, we do have a foundational level yoga teacher training, an advanced level teacher training, and a yoga therapy training. And you can learn all about that on the URL across the bottom of the screen here. As always, I'm glad you've been here. Please don't forget to subscribe so you'll get more notifications when other classes come out. I love to have your comments and your questions down below. And if the practice was helpful, please do click the like button. That helps us as well with the channel. Thanks again, everyone. Namaste.